We were 12 minutes into the dive that morning when I knew something was wrong. It was 1993. 30 of us were living in a disused wooden convent on a tiny islet in Central America, 15 miles off the coast of Belize. We had come to volunteer for a company dedicated to marine conservation on a project designed to help Belize protect its system of barrier reefs. As a certified scuba instructor and the appointed diving officer in charge, I was exempt from the daily chores of cooking and cleaning. Instead, my task was to consult with the on-site scientist and organize dive teams to conduct underwater surveys twice a day. Volunteer divers, some of us from Ireland, but most from Britain, came for 1, 2, or 3 months at a time. My boyfriend and I had come for 4. After 10 days of intensive study, learning the names of fish, corals, sponges, and invertebrates, divers were ready to play a vital role in identifying life on the reef. After each dive, we uploaded the data to the Home Office, where GPS coordinates of the surveyed zones were superimposed on satellite imagery of the area, which helped identify the underwater terrain further down the reef. That morning, I was leading one team of 4, navigating the tract. My buddy diver, documenting fish, swam to my right. When I turned to check on the pair in the rear, I realized Maureen was upside down. Her mask was pointed towards the seabed, her feet towards the surface. It was not an unusual position for a diver documenting algae and minuscule invertebrates. She had to get as close as possible without making contact. But something was off. Her slate, attached to her wrist by a cord, was not in her hand, but floating above her head. Her pencil lay in one ridge of the brain coral beneath her nose. I swam back, grabbed her arm and leg, and turned her right side up. Her vacant eyes held no fear, but I'm sure the alarm must have been obvious in mine. We were 30 meters below the surface, and she was non-responsive. I had been trained to assist an unconscious diver at such depths, but at that time, diving was still my hobby, not my profession, and I'd never done it for real. If we didn't act quickly, she would die. If we acted too quickly, she would also die, and so would we. I signaled the others to abort the dive, and we started kicking our way to the surface. On our way up, 2 questions focused my mind. 1, how fast could we push the swim to the surface without getting the bends? 2, how to manage the air expanding in our bodies. If everyone didn't keep exhaling as the ambient pressure decreased, we risked bursting a lung. Easy for us, we just kept breathing. For the unconscious Maureen, however, her regulator was still in her mouth like a baby's pacifier. With the heel of my hand, I held it in place so she wouldn't drown. My fingers covered her mask and pushed her forehead back to extend her neck and open her airway. My other hand gripped her weight belt in a fist and punched against her belly, forcing the expanding air up and out of her lungs. Next problem was our jackets. If we didn't purge the air from our buoyancy control devices, known as BCDs, they would fill like balloons and whisk us to the surface. Bubbles would form in our blood, and decompression sickness would follow. I had no free hands, so I nodded at Maureen's buddy, and he alternated between venting her jacket and his own. Mine did the same for me. Had Neptune been out on a daily survey of his vast underwater world, he might have believed we'd invented a game of subaquatic twister. The 4 of us became a tangle of arms and air bubbles as we kicked for the surface, ascending towards the light. Since that time, there have been studies and different recommendations made on how to rescue a submerged unconscious diver. Whether it was the best procedure or the safest thing to do, it was all I knew back then and therefore what I did. With that training also came the decision to abandon the safety decompression stop. We needed to be topside, and we needed to be there now. We were so close.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it. at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.